Okay, we are now joined by 2009 Formula One World Champion, Garage 56 driver, and making his NASCAR Cup Series debut, Jenson Button. Jenson, please just start off talking about your feelings after getting out of that next-gen car, and what are you looking forward to this weekend?
First of all, good afternoon. It's lovely to be here. This is a great opportunity for me. You know, I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be racing a cup car. So this is a lovely opportunity. I got to thank Mobil One for it. As you probably know, I've been doing quite a bit of driving in a stock car, racing at Le Mans later this year. But we don't really have so much competition in that. So this is exciting. You know, I get to race against 30 other crazy guys out there. So really looking forward to the challenge. And it definitely is a big challenge. You know, jumping in the car for a 50-minute practice session and that's it before we go qualifying and racing is tough, I think, for anyone that's not used to big, heavy cars and low downforce cars. So I'm enjoying the process. You know, the team have been great, and you know, I'm looking forward to a good weekend, a solid weekend. You know, the car felt pretty good out there, and you know, I think tomorrow in qualifying, when it really counts to get a lap in, there's a bit more pressure. But we'll see how it goes. But setup-wise, working with my guys and improving it, yeah, we're going in the right direction.
Thank you, Jenson. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. We'll start here and work around the room. We'll start with Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires.net. Just wanted to ask you about your prep for the Le Mans with the Garage 56, and what are you doing to be ready for that?
Testing, lots of testing. You know, I've done 6 days in the car now, but it's very different to this. And people are like, you know, this is really useful for the Garage 56 program, but it's not. It's very different. You know, it's paddle shift. It's got downforce. It's lighter, kind of like 8 seconds a lap quicker. But they both have their place. You know, I enjoy both of them equally. It's fun with a project that you're involved with in terms of development, but it's also fun jumping in a stock car that is the same as pretty much everyone else on the grid. So I'm a racing driver and I love racing, whatever it is. Racing at Le Mans is spectacular. It's such a special place. If you haven't been, you have to go. But you know, for me, going wheel to wheel here is it's pretty special.
We'll go Bob, then Zach, then Holly.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. You had 13 laps today, maybe a few tomorrow. Have you ever had a race where you've only had 15 or 16 laps in the car? And then also, was there anything about the car that you realized in practice that you were not expecting?
No, I pretty much expected everything I felt. You just don't really, it's just, it's a lot more extreme, I think, in some ways than others that I expected. So, yeah, I mean, position in the car feels good. The weirdest thing for me is that there's so much on the windscreen. So focusing out of the windscreen is really difficult. You know, you've got all sorts of different pillars in different angles, the windscreen wiper, and getting your head around that and your eyes to focus past that definitely takes time. You know, I'm used to having a visor and that's it. You know, it's open to me. So that took a bit of time, and it's still not there, you know, that feeling. Confident in what the car's doing. It's moving a lot. And riding curbs, you know, that's something that I'm not used to, you know, as much as most of the boys here. So, yeah, it's new, it's a challenge, but I followed a few guys out there, and I'm doing most things right. But it's just the fine-tuning that I'm not there with my driving yet or the car. Never jumped into a car for 13 laps and gone qualifying, no. It's also very different to what I'm used to, so it takes a bit of time. You know, I'm not a guy that jumps in a car and goes immediately quick. You know, I need to work with it a little bit, work with the engineers, and build it around me. So tomorrow will be fun. The race is Sunday, but I still think qualifying can be relatively competitive.
What is Zach?
Zach Catanzaretti, kickingthetires.net. Cody Way, your teammate, has quite a bit of Cup experience, also some open wheel experience as well. So how have you been kind of gelling with him so far, and how does that experience kind of different from having a teammate in F1 and maybe working with them throughout a weekend?
The first thing I noticed compared to F1 is he's a big dude. He is tall. So yeah, you don't get that in F1. You know, I'm 6 foot. I'm like the tallest driver in F1. So 6'4", it's tall to even to squeeze yourself into a stock car. So that was the first thing. Yeah, you know, I think with his experience of racing different cars, he knows how competitive Cup Series is, and that's the big thing, really. You know, a lot of people come here, they think, it's easy. You know, I've raced cars my whole life around circuits. Why would it be any different in the Cup Series? But it is, because it's heavy, it's lazy in some ways. It doesn't make it less exciting, but it's just very different. So it's tough, and you know, I don't expect to go out there and qualify top 3 tomorrow or to finish top 3 on Sunday. I expect a challenging race, but a race where I'm going to learn a lot as well. And you know, that's why I wanted to do 3 races this year. 1 race isn't enough. You know, I need the experience of here at COTA before I move to Chicago and then the last one in Indianapolis. So you know, there's no reason for me not to be competitive. It just takes a bit of time. These guys have driven these cars for years. They know the nuances and what makes them work, which just takes a little bit of time for me.
Go over here to Holly.
Hi, Jenson. 2 questions. The first one, this is kind of cool that you're getting a chance to race against 2 of the guys that you're working with on the Garage 56 project. If you could kind of talk about racing against Jordan and Jimmy.
Yeah, well, Jordan's got to slow down. He went really fast in practice. But no, it's great that we've all got this opportunity. You know, Jordan is a great guy. He's obviously extremely talented. Everything he jumps in, he's quick, and we've seen that with the Garage 56 car. And he's a character. You know, he's a good character, and I think wherever he goes, he has a good fan base because he has that personality, and all sports need that, and all types of motorsports. So it's good to see him competitive, good to see him have this opportunity. And, you know, we talk about it all the time. You know, we're texting all the time and, you know, laughing a lot of the time because it's so different to what we're used to, and we got this opportunity to drive in the Cup Series. With Jimmy, obviously, he has a lot of experience racing in the Cup Series. And has won multiple championships. So it comes at it for a very different way. But I think, you know, road courses are still a challenge for him. You know, it's still something that he didn't do so much back in the day. It was more ovals than road courses. So it's all exciting. It's great working with these different guys that come from different backgrounds in Garage 56, and also to see them be competitive here in the Cup Series. Yeah, I mean, driving a car is something I've done my whole life. So I will be competitive in terms of outright speed. But as you said, it's the other part of it that I have no experience of, and that's, you know, being six abreast going into turn 1 and tapping here and there. And as I noticed today in practice, people don't move out the way when they're on a slow lap when you're on a quick lap. So, yeah, there's a lot to learn. And yeah, it's a very, very different sport to what I'm used to, but I'll go with it. I'll roll with the punches, and I look forward to the challenge.
Kelly.
Test. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
It's very quiet.
1, 2, 3.
Kelly, CrandallRacer.com. Jenson, so with all the anticipation of getting here, getting to this race, getting to the racetrack, what was it when you climbed in and finally got to run a lap at speed for the first time? What were the thoughts? What were the emotions?
I mean, first of all, a little bit anxious, but excited at the same time. I forgot how to start the car, which was interesting. So they pushed the car back, and I'm like, it won't start. And oh, it's okay. There's a few other switches that I had to put up. But then it was okay. You know, I got out into onto the circuit. I was surprised at how little grip there was initially when I pulled away when the tires are cold. But no, I mean, it comes to you over time. You know, the gear shifting is something that I've never driven a sequential gearbox car. I've never pulled back for, you know, going up through the gears and got pushed away to go down. So it's something completely new to learn. You know, I've driven a manual gearbox, but you normally go across the box and what have you. You know, the last time I drove a gearbox like this was in 1999. So there's a lot that you go back into the bank of info that you've learned over the years, and you bring it out again, and it comes to you pretty quick. So I really enjoyed it, and it's also interesting having spotters. I've never had spotters before, so you know, I've got guys in my ear the whole way around telling me there's traffic behind, there's traffic in front. It's quite soothing, kind of like it. Our spotters have very soothing voices, which I think is good especially it's going to be good on Sunday when it's manic out there. So that's something else to learn. You know, I have my mirrors so I can see around me, but then they're telling me all the fun information that's going on around me, which is good.
We'll go to Chris next.
Chris Knight, catchfans.com. Jenson, what's the atmosphere been like? Has it been what you expected? Has it been more relaxed? A little bit. I mean, you've been around so many different types of atmospheres throughout your racing career. What's the atmosphere been like in NASCAR?
Well, this is one reason why I was interested in racing in NASCAR, was because it's a real, from the outside, it looks like quite a big family atmosphere. And I'm a dad now. I've got 2 kids. And I took my son, my wife came along as well, to the Coliseum. So we had a great experience there of seeing the Cup Series, which is good. And then I took my son to Fontana again to watch and saw a few of the drivers. And Corey LaJoie said his son's named Jenson. So I thought that was quite funny. I was like, did you know I'm actually going to be racing you in a few weeks? But it was just a really nice atmosphere. You know, we were invited into people's teams. My son was given a car, a mini cup car by one of the teams, a lug nut. It was just so cool. And the opportunity for the family to be around while you're racing is something I'm just not used to. You know, Formula One is very different. You know, they come at it from a very different angle, that you need to be solo. You need to be focused on your driving. Whereas here, you still got some of the best drivers in the world, but they come at it from a different way, and family keeps them grounded, keeps them relaxed, I guess, over a race weekend. So I really enjoy that family atmosphere. And for people that have never been to a NASCAR race, they need to, because it's that atmosphere that really makes the sport, I think.
Any final or wrap up here with Justin?
Justin Schuler, kicking the tires. You mentioned earlier you love to be behind a wheel and a motor or anything else like that. So earlier this year you were doing karting. So kind of, I guess, share that experience, and then anything else that you're planning to maybe try in the next year or two.
Yeah, I used to kart from 1988 to 1997. I was a kart driver, and I raced all around the world, raced at Charlotte, with the circuit there, raced in Japan and all these wonderful places as a teenager. And then I moved into car racing, F1, for 17 years. So last year, I thought I'd give it a go. As a 42-year-old, I thought I'd go karting again, 25 years after I retired, and loved it. So finished 4th, and then I raced again in January, got on the podium. And it's the purest type of racing. You know, it's kind of like, well, it's not quite as extreme as what I'm going to experience on Sunday, but you've always got people around you, nudging you. There's someone to your inside, someone to your outside. They don't give you an inch. And I felt that was useful for me, looking ahead to this season of racing in the Cup Series. So, yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, but other plans this year, nothing in stone yet. I have a few ideas for 2024, but nothing this year yet.
Okay, Jenson, thank you so much for the time, and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you, guys.